Moon Platoon, AMC is testing critical resistance, but today I'm going to tell it straight to you from the meatball himself. The Sleepy Boy is going to be able to give you guys not only what you need to know for Monday, but also coming up, looking at the options chain about where we are coming up to next and why 145 all the way out here is still on the horizon for the potential second gamma squeeze. All right, short interest continues to raise, and we still are not yet up to the 15% range that we were back before a couple of weeks ago. And finally, I want to say that, hey, one of you actually won a voicemail. So irrelevant, wait until the end of this video to see what kind of voicemail you guys can earn when we get up to 3,500 likes in this video, and we'll randomly pick a commenter. So comment out which like you are, and let's get started. Okay, the first thing I want you guys to know is that we had several different technical indicators that were broken into, and a couple of them that played out perfectly. What I mean to say is at the end of the day, when you have something like this, at the beginning of the day, we dropped all the way to our bottom, the lowest price action at 34.69, and when we broke out of that, we came back to the 35.59. So that level of resistance was where AMC was having the most struggle. And from that level of resistance, we were able to bring us up past two levels here, from 35.59 to 36.20, all the way to 36.77. Notice how there is essentially equidistant amount of space between these levels of resistance here. So a symmetrical wedge was begun towards the start of the day and started breaking out towards the end. We even saw that the price action dropped down and used the uptrend, this part of the trend, to be able to bounce. So I want to be able to tell you guys that the red line here, this critical level of support, was breached earlier on the end of Friday's 37.53, and then coming down to 37.43. The reason why you know that this was not meant to happen was because at the end of the day, the options chain volumes, and we know that when it comes down to the manipulation, sometimes the algorithm sleeps. Sometimes it comes back down to whether or not there is a mountain of puts at a $42 range, $40 range. All of these are in the money already. So bought and purchased with the intent to exercise while AMC's price action is still below. So these puts bought perfectly already ripe for the taking. But if you come down here towards 35, this level of resistance here at 37.21, there's less coverage, so 39 and 38, right? You only have about 500,000 worth of puts as we crawl all the way up. So when it comes back to conferring with whether or not this is similar to the last time there's a gamma squeeze, you can see that there is a lot more options play, and A. Tobit comes back down, talks to our show right, earlier this week, but if he comes back and talks about his Citadel has no close, Citadel is naked, right? That is going to be more about Citadel's options positions and how they have taken off of the beaten path of the long positions that you normally hold, and they have now taken almost all of their puts and calls, and that is their main position in AMC, not to mention the short position. So as we talk about shorts, 14.77%, that is fairly up there for the history of AMC. Take a look at the exchange reported SI over to the right. This blue line here peaked at around the, I think this is in May. So the beginning of May, the short exchange reported was the 100 millions. So that was where we breached 100 million in terms of what the short exchange reported. And back then, right, we had less than we did when we finished that at the market offering in terms of the free float in June. So all of that said, it was where the short exchange reports a dramatic drop and now holding tight around that 15%. Vortex gives us the rest of the data we need to be able to focus up and understand that that is ample. Compare that to the Volkswagen squeeze. An imperfect metric and imperfect comparison, but it does give us a very good understanding of how much a double-digit short interest plays into the potential squeeze. If you guys want to be able to understand where those buy signals did come from earlier, we saw them on Lux algorithm, and that simplifies the art of finding out exactly where is the next buy signal and where is the next potential downtrend. Because those times that you are able to wait for those confirmations, maybe you're waiting for a 3 out of 4 or a 4 out of 4, you end up wasting some time that you could have captured as potential delta. So if you go look at GME here, you'll be able to see that we had some strong buy signals over here while the price action crossed over to the EQ band and brought us up all the way to the 181s. When this strong signal was called, it was down at 178. So small victories like that, and GME is still green for the upcoming Monday. So that is your quick GME health check. From the day after a swing down into this reversal bands, we had pretty smooth sailing on that strong signal. One of the other things that I wanted to be able to say is that, you probably have the next version of Lux. We're still working on a potential tutorial on how to use the latest version, but take a look at the fact that you could have called the bottom of this dip by taking a look at this oscillator. Whenever this oscillator approaches 0 in terms of its slope, where it turns all the way up, diverges as far as it can, and then starts to plummet back down towards a convergence, that is almost always guaranteed to be a local or even an absolute minimum. So that is following your nose and understanding that right here is where that strong buy signal could have been. And then facing that crossover right here when the oscillator moves from the red into the green, that is where that strong buy signal is waiting for you. Thank you guys so much for watching this prep video. As a reminder, we still are doing bell to bell. Well, bell to half a bell, because we can only move up to partway into the day. And I appreciate you guys learning along with us, jumping on the live stream and grabbing a couple of wrinkles for your brain. We'll still start when the markets open, but when they end, you're gonna have to make sure that you've turned your own bell on, the bell icon, to make sure that you learn when we are starting and when we are ending. Thanks again. 20% off with Lux algorithm has been confirmed again for one more week. And then after the next integration, we'll be able to say whether or not we still have 20% off this product with Andrew Mo Money. Something else is that, you have every single one of these tools that I just described in the description down below. So this is Option Sonar, and this is Ortex, where you can find FTD data as well as short exchange reported data and scrape data from their very accurate 85% of the market scraper. Thanks so much. Once again, the people that were able to make this show possible include people just like the one randomly picked, Irrelevant, said General Mo Money, doing great things. He just dropped a comment in the last video, and now we're here to be able to give him a voicemail. So you've reached the voicemail of Irrelevant. Thank you so much for coming in. Actually, it's not Irrelevant, it's your friend, your friendly neighborhood, Andrew Mo Money. Hey, if you want to leave a message at the beep, I'd really appreciate that, as well as the fact that we'll see you shortly in the money. And you guys as well. Peace.